I have definitely heard from fans of Taylor Swift saying that the album is not very good. So much so that Cutie literally said it could be potentially because it's bad on purpose. So no, I don't think it's like that. So, Cutie coping.
I have a question. I have a genuine question. I put a lot of thought into this. 20-year Swiftie here reporting for duty with a question to the rest of you. Did I miss the memo where we were supposed to take this album seriously? Because what I remember is that it was announced on a podcast.
I just don't know enough about like Swiftie lore and Taylor Swift in general to actively to be able to. I haven't even listened to the album yet. I've just been consumed with a lot of the takes off of the album. I know that there is I mean, I'm not like I just don't care. Obviously, you guys know I'm not like the biggest music listener in general, but what I have seen is, you know, I know Cutie is coping and that's okay. Lol, Taylor says is serious and she doesn't mind that people have their opinions on it. I mean, first of all, it's not a life or death situation, right? It's a famous recording artist who came out with an album and maybe it wasn't as well received as previous ones, and that's okay. You know? Saw a TikTok saying, listen to the lyrics like it's an MF Doom song and it's good. Oh, I saw that one too. That's actually a banger TikTok. I was going to bring that up too. It's not the end of the world if this album didn't hit. You know what I mean? If this album didn't hit as well as previous albums did, it is what it is, right? Like it's not going to change the world. I will say, however, that there are a lot of people who I think were just like waiting for Taylor Swift's downfall too, because she's super popular. At least listen to this one. Canceled lyrical video. I don't know. I mean, she has like all the songs that I know of Taylor Swift and listen to from Taylor Swift are the songs that Cutie hates and says aren't good. Like, I know the popular songs and I like the popular songs that I hear. You know, that's my take on Taylor Swift. Like, I just don't understand it. Otherwise, I don't understand it beyond whatever the top 40, platinum hits that she puts out. But given that she is a very famous recording artist with a diehard fan base, I feel as though, you know, there are a lot of people who are heavily scrutinizing the lyrics. Some of her fans are turning on her. As a lifelong Taylor Swift hater, some of those lyrics were racist, especially against black women, and I will not be hearing otherwise. I don't know which lyrics they are that are like anti-black women. Can't believe how soft you are. What the fuck happened to this channel? I just don't care. Like, I don't care about the hate either. Like, do you see what I mean? Like, I think like people are shitting on her because they've been like waiting for a moment, and this album seems to be like the weakness that they've identified, because even her fans are like not as invested in the songs. But I did see one response from a girly pop that was definitely a Swiftie. Okay, definitely a Swiftie, because she kept using words like our or saying stuff like we when she was talking about Taylor Swift and her experiences. And that's how you know someone is definitely a Swiftie. And the apex point of this criticism that made me unironically laugh out loud was when she turned around, okay, and said Taylor Swift is a white supremacist when she was like, I want to make the block look like you or something, when referencing having many children with Travis Kelce. But in any case, people are very mad. Is this the video you were talking about before? Wait, I think this might be the one. No, not this one. There was another one. Because some of these criticisms I do agree with broadly. Like, as far as Taylor Swift having like limitations of being like a supremely wealthy white lady, of course she's going to have limits to her understanding of the world. She's going to have some horse blinders on, you know? I don't disagree with that at all. But that predates this latest album, you know? But there was one that was like making it seem as though she was like actively and deliberately. Oh, this is the one. Yes, this is the one. This is the one. You know this is a Swiftie, by the way.
Taylor Swift is handing the conservative agenda on a silver platter to the masses. And before I go any further, and before you argue with me, you cannot convince me that the master lyricist of our generation, akin to Shakespeare, the Easter egg master.
Okay. This has to be a Swiftie, right? Like, I mean, she's saying like unironically that Taylor Swift's like lyricism is akin to Shakespeare.
Of our generation is not.
No, this woman is a hive Beyonce stan like me, Queen. Wait, really?
Aware of what her entire optics and lyrics and album and everything is giving at this very moment. And before you suggest that this was supposed to be a satirical album, I would like to remind you how she feels about this album in her own words.
World to me to have this creative experience where like we knew that we had to bring the best ideas we've ever had.
Yeah.
And I also know the pressure I'm putting on this record by saying that, but I don't care because I love it that much. And there's not other ones coming. This is the.
Oh, her name is Basis Christ. Oh, she is Bayhive. Oh my God.
Record I've been wanting to make for a very long time.
I'll try to rapid fire this as fast as I can so that my video is not an hour long, but we're going to start with the rollout of the album, the announcement of the album on our boyfriend's football podcast. Our boyfriend who plays for the NFL, who we are now aligning our brand with, who is one of the most racist and problematic industries in our country. Yes. Listen, I don't know how long Taylor Swift's been doing this, but I know it's been a pretty good amount of time. She's worked pretty hard for her career. But why are we sharing what you are saying is the best piece of work you've ever put out, and you're going to share it with a man? You're going to announce it with a... This is where the optics are starting. We are creeping our way down the conservative pipeline, and before you say that's a reach, I'm not done. We all know what's coming next, the engagement. They got engaged as a package deal with the album rollout. Yes, they did. The album was announced, and 1 day later, 2 days later, it was announced that they were engaged. We could talk about how manufactured that is. We could talk about how inauthentic it is. We could also talk about how it is yet another step towards the...
Basically, she says these lyrics over here somewhere in the video is actually promoting white supremacy. And maybe people will get mad at me, but like, although I am critical of Taylor Swift for, you know, or you know, for being a billionaire, being out of touch, flying around in private jets, hanging out with you know, MAGA Republicans from time to time, or people who are like, you know, pro-Trump from time to time, as is the case with like wealthy people. I thought this was a little bit of a stretch. Have a couple kids, got the whole block looking like you. I don't think, or using AI, that was another one, but I don't even think that she would like deliberately use AI. I think she probably outsourced it to someone who was using AI. But this, I don't think this is her literally being like...
And a baby face, they want freedom. They want 3 dogs they call their kids. But I just want you. Have a couple kids, have the whole block looking like you. And say that again. I want to have your white babies, and I actually want our entire neighborhood to be racially homogenous. She went through the...
No, dude, I don't think that was what the intention was. I think she just meant like she wants to have a lot of children. I do like, is woke back? Because I feel like this is like 2020 era of woke. I think this is like, you can say she's like tradwifing it for sure. But like when you say this is, you know, basically her saying the 14 words, I feel like that's not, I don't know. I feel like that's maybe a stretch. But then again, I haven't seen talking like Travis Kelce is a Gaza journalist. What is this? He's out there every single week putting his life on the line. She's talking about Travis Kelce like he's some journalist in Gaza fighting for his life. Wait, what? Taylor Swift addresses why she hasn't headlined the Super Bowl halftime show yet. I'm in love with a guy who does that sport on the actual field. That's violent chess. That is dangerous. The whole season, I'm locked in on what that man is doing on the field. Can you imagine? He's out there every single week putting his life on the line. And I'm like, I'm wondering what my choreo should be. I should do 2 verses of Shake It Off into Blank Space into Cruel Summer would be great. This has nothing to do with Travis. He would think this is great. I'm too locked in. Yeah, Tribe Wife who's a workaholic billionaire. No, I'm saying that the presentation is like she's very happy. She's very happy about her relationship. And the album, I think, reflects that. And I think maybe it's not. Hasan, you don't understand this because you're white? What do you mean? Understand what? I mean, I don't know why she's talking like she's a cop wife over here. You know what I mean? I guess objectively, the NFL is probably a little bit more dangerous than being a cop. The rule of show business is if the first week of my album release and you're saying either my name or my album title, you're helping. That was her response to the fans who dislike the life of a showgirl. Oof. She throws shade at Megan Thee Stallion and says she's not a bad bitch or a savage. She also calls Travis X Onyx and herself as Opalite. Taylor Swift is a white supremacist, full stop. I mean, I'm not a Swiftie by any metric, okay? But I feel like a lot of people who are angling this from every avenue so far has taken it to, dare I say, extreme levels. Let's hear this one.
Unfortunately, good is not one of them. I knew the album wasn't going to be good as soon as the title was revealed, but the promo pics made me curious, so I have listened to the album in full. And now, having listened to it, the album's problem is glaringly obvious.
I am a hot girl, by the way. Stay away from Megan Thee Stallion. What's my interpretation? I mean, I haven't even listened to the music, so
Taylor Swift.
This makes it all the more humorous for me because I haven't even listened to the music. I've heard more commentary on Taylor Swift's new album than I have heard Taylor Swift's actual new album.
The problem is Taylor Swift is aging out of being a white girl. Before you scroll, let me cook. When Taylor was a teenager, she wanted to be a pop star, so her parents decided to take the country route. Keep in mind, this is the 2000s. Pop music was highly sexual, it was sleazy, and then you had things like bling rap. It's not a place for a little white girl. Country music, on the other hand, loves a little white girl, and she's blonde, they'll eat her up. So her family moved from Pennsylvania to Tennessee to launch her country career. That's why for the first several years of her career, she faked a southern accent. She was trying to fit in.
I thought it was funny that she was talking about Travis Kelce's penis, though. That was pretty funny. Like that I thought was lyricism. That was bars. He has hardwood and it gets me excited. It opens his redwood tree, opens my legs, stuff like that. She's just horny. Why is she so horny in this album? I mean, she can be horny if she wants to. But for me, it kind of felt like she was trying to do a Sabrina Carpenter thing, you know? God forbid a woman get dick down and enjoy it. Yeah, I think like, if anything, so you did listen? No, I saw the lyrics online and I thought they were fake because I've seen a bunch of fake lyrics online about how like I went back in time to vote for Adolf Hitler. There was one where there was a dude that was posting saying Taylor Swift, one of the lyrics was, I went back in time and voted for Adolf Hitler over and over again. And then she says, I punched every woman on the way to the voting booth. I punched every woman in the face on my way to the voting booth to vote for Adolf Hitler. Yeah, wow, this new Taylor Swift album is disgusting. I went back in time and voted for Hitler. I went back in time and voted for Hitler. I went back in time and voted for Hitler. I punched every girl I saw in the face on the way to the booth to vote for Hitler. That's so stupid. It's real. You can tell because of the screenshot.
But I'm not a black bitch, and I'm not a savage, but I'm scared that bitch, and she's gonna
What
have
the
a fat ass, and I have a flat ass, and I don't have no titties. But your last ex, she has some perky titties, and I'm a insecure white girl with a flat chest, thinking that I.
Is it because Travis Kelce dated almost exclusively black women before Taylor Swift? Is that what it is? Is that the angle? Is that the meta? Yes, bro. Keep the up. I mean, dude, I don't know about goddamn Hollywood celebrities, bro. What are you talking about? I just, yeah, that's why Opalite versus Onyx. What is Opalite? Opalite. Pop superstar slammed for racially charged lyrics aimed at fiance's ex, Cleveland.com. I beg you, please stop. The Swifties are going to get you deported to El Salvador. Listen, I'm not saying nothing. I'm just looking at what's going on. Okay, this is the video you need to watch to understand the drama. It's annoying because everybody keeps sending me TikToks, but it's like half of them are memes like this. Like I haven't arrived at a TikTok that like, oh, this is the one that everyone keeps posting. Okay, we'll watch that one here.
Is obsessed with black women. Let's talk about it. Taylor Swift is obsessed with the fact that several of her exes have moved on to date black women, and she perceives this kind of conquering of Travis as an end or disruption of this pattern, and she's boasting about it in this album. Let's start with Opalite, which is very clearly about Kayla Nicole, Travis Kelce's ex-boyfriend whom he dated off and on from 2017 to 2022, and oh, Kayla Nicole happens to be black. The lyrics in Opalite could actually not be clearly more like targeting Kayla Nicole, right? It references a video that went viral a couple times in which Travis is literally berating Kayla for being on her phone. Meanwhile, she is an influencer, so that is weirdo behavior because she was working and it's very controlling, but it is very clear nonetheless that that video is referenced in Opalite. The lyric reads, "You couldn't understand it, why you felt alone, you were in it for real, she was in her phone, and you were just a pose," right? Like Taylor could not have been more obvious and like less creative here. It's not enough to me that like Taylor is using this like crazy like worldwide medium to best a woman that like previously dated her ex. It's also the fact that like Taylor is fully aware that Kayla has received like relentless and racist harassment, oftentimes terrifying, from Swifties in reaction to the fact that she previously dated Travis. So like this is like purposefully and like blatantly violent. This song accomplishes two things at once, right? It proves the fact that Taylor Swift is obsessed with black women, and it endangers Kayla Nicole. But obviously our country is not at its best with critical thinking, so let's like analyze a different part of the song, right? So another lyric says, "But I'm not a bad bitch, and this ain't savage, but I'm never gonna let you down." So in this song, Taylor positions herself as this like unique, singular white flower that is so different from what? Black culture. And once you step back and realize the song is like final boss pick me X racism, you realize that Taylor Swift is preoccupied with like this obsession with black women, in part because Travis Kelce has predominantly dated black women in the past. And she wants to define herself as different from his past and therefore better. Again, very weird, very pick me.
Oh my God, Opalite is in reference to Midnight's album. Wait, so she's not even mentioning Opalite as a counter to like Onyx or something? Is that what it is? Everybody has long COVID now, brain fog. Yeah, I can see that. I need so much, dude. This is like, I need to download so much lore to understand exactly what the happening here, and I feel like I'm in treacherous waters. Even trying to comprehend what the happening here, I feel as though this is, I'm not even going to call cutie because then people are going to yell at me. Please listen to a normal person who isn't being parasocial about the music, but explains the race element.
Behavior. Taylor's not only preoccupied with this idea that Travis has historically dated black women, it's also the reality that several of her exes have moved on from her to black women. And that confounds and ultimately like enrages her, and she's so obsessed with the pattern and the idea that she had to talk about it in this album. Chris, give me examples. Okay, well, we have Harry Styles, who is now reportedly dating Zoe Kravitz. We have Tom Hiddleston, who has moved on to be engaged to and co-parent with a black woman whose name is Zawe Ashton. And then we have Calvin Harris, who went on to marry a black woman named Vic Hope. So it is a pattern, and Taylor Swift is clearly aware of it because she is obsessed with her exes, and all of that together is making me feel very, very strange. And ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today I'd argue that this idea, the idea that white men have historically left Taylor Swift for black women, is part of her personal mythos, right? I imagine she finds it both confounding and devastating that these men have left her, who is like the pinnacle of Western white beauty, right? She is the ideal white woman. Meanwhile, all of these white guys are leaving her for black women, and I'm sure it's really pissing her off. So when Taylor secured Travis, she achieved the ultimate feat in her mind. She had convinced a white man to leave black.
I'm gonna be honest, I feel like this is a bit of a stretch. Like, I'm saying that even if I were to believe that Taylor Swift despises black women, which I have no reason to assume that there isn't regular whiteness embedded in that sort of attitude. I don't know if this in and of itself is the reason. So true, bro. She voted for Kamala. Wait, what? Yeah, I wouldn't believe this if it wasn't for that song Canceled is so ass. Yeah, I feel like the Canceled song is the one that is more indicative of her making a potential potential move in the opposite direction rather than all this other stuff. Taylor and Zoe are really good friends. Zoe was one of the first person to listen to the album Jesus Christ. Okay, well, you guys got to stop sending me what every Taylor Swift song sounds like to me. What is this? Why are you gonna? Oh, I can't.
Braid my hair. Last summer it was perfect. It was you and me. Hand in hand like slow motion in the movies. I braid my hair just because I can. We stay up late and throw glitter in the air. Let's dance in the sun, 'cause we're wild and we're free. Dance in the moonlight while kissing in the ocean. I can see you in my dreams.
Okay, I mean, she's kind of cooking. What is this? Taylor Swift attempts to silence critic. ACLU fights back. Wait, what the what the the ACLU was beefing with Taylor Swift? Pop front editor Megan Herning wrote a post titled "Swiftly to the Alt-Right. Taylor subtly gets the lowercase KKK in formation." What? How far does this well go? What the Labeling the blog post as defamatory and demanding that she issue a retraction and remove the story from all media sources and cease and desist. The way Travis flirted with Taylor throughout his podcast, he tried it with Meg first and she wasn't interested. No, I saw that it's from 2017. I understand. Man, what a time. What a crazy situation. All right, let's hear Moist Critical's take first, and then we'll look at the canceled song.
Science. The Swifties vocally expressing disappointment, and not only in the album, but in the way in which Taylor Swift has gone about it. There is a lot of greed at play here that I would have never even imagined as a money-making strategy. It's so scummy. But Swifties have been well known to support any and everything Taylor Swift does at basically any price point imaginable. You could ask the moon, and they would happily fork over every single doubloon in their piggy bank for it. They would pay $5,000 to be in the same room that Taylor Swift farted in 5 years ago, and they would pay that with a big smile on their face, and go online to rave about the incredible experience being near a smidgen of ass molecule that Taylor Swift shared the same air as this one room one time. And yet, they are talking about how disappointing this is from Taylor. That's crazy to me. That has to be an indicator for an impending apocalypse. I bet if you correlate this with the Mayan calendar, we're going to find evidence to the end times right around the corner. It is shocking, to say the least. And since I brought up the end times, I want to tell you that the end of bad hygiene is here, thanks to our soap Cheeky. We've got a new scent available now. It's the Sunday Scaries. It's our vanilla scent, which is a scent that has been requested highly for the last year, and it's finally here. So you can go to usecheeky.com and get yourself the best soap ever created. So naturally, before getting into the greedy monetization model for this album, Life of a Showgirl, I'll go ahead and give you my opinion on the album because I decided to take a little listen. I didn't hate it. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what all the hoopla is about. Like, it seems like just a very normal Taylor Swift album. Admittedly, there's nothing on there that jumped out at me as a classic.
Yeah, I feel like for white guys or just dudes in general, right? This doesn't like even the stuff that I have like bits and pieces that I've heard, like it just sounds like previous Taylor Swift albums. And I don't know if that's like up to say, but I didn't even fully understand like why people, like why Swifties didn't like it. So for me, I mean, there is nothing different about this song than other Taylor Swift songs that I have heard. Like it doesn't even track as like, I mean, people will say like, oh, this is worse. I'm just telling you, I can't understand why this would be worse. I mean, lyrics aside, I'm just talking like if I were to listen to any Taylor Swift song, like this is just, it just sounds similar. As far as the lyrics goes, good thing I like my friends canceled. I don't know what she is like referencing here, but I guess like she's taking a anti-cancel culture stance. That's because you're musically illiterate. As a longtime Swift hater, this album is objectively worse. It's sonically petulant and annoying. She's talking about Blake Lively. What's the cancellation of Blake Lively? Taylor Swift confirms canceled meaning on the life of a showgirl. Oh, it's the thing. The Justin Baldoni situation. That's what it is. Could be Brittany Mahomes too. Wait, that's crazy. No. Old unk ass. You think it's about... Okay, do I need to pull up Fantano's take on this? Someone send me the Anthony Fantano review, please. Wait, did you girl boss too close to the sun? I like them cloaked in Gucci and Scandal and Poison Thorny Flowers, tone deaf and hot. Let's off her. Commentator previously called the pop star and actress girl bosses who flew too close to the sun. Candace Owens? Blake Lively? Blake Lively appears to respond to the backlash to tone deaf publicity for It Ends With Us.
Hi everyone, me Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Taylor Swift album, The Life of a Showgirl. This is the 12th full-length studio album from, I guess, who's the biggest songwriter on the planet, Miss Taylor Swift. What can be said about Taylor Swift that has not been said a million bajillion times already? Or would even be widely agreed upon by everybody? Continually, I find the strangest thing about Taylor Swift to be that there is just so little agreement on her, despite her immense fame and exposure. She's almost like a Rorschach test for pop fans.
Yeah, I just realized I think this lyric is about me. I like him cloaked in Gucci. Remember when I got canceled for having a famous Gucci shirt? I think she was talking about me, dude. She must have seen the GQ photo shoot. Yeah, that's what it is, actually. I think she also had a 4chan account. No, dude, I don't think she has a 4chan account. What would be the purpose? I think she's a boring, banal lib, dude, when it comes to her politics. I don't think she's like, the f are you guys talking about? What is it about Taylor Swift that makes people, both lovers and haters alike, that go absolutely nutty mode? And by the way, boring and banal libs can still exhibit white supremacist qualities. Absolutely. That doesn't mean. And boring, banal liberals could also turn into MAGA as well. That's not what I'm, I just don't think that she was like into 4chan style neo-Nazi memes or whatever.
At this point, I would say. Because not only are there just such vastly different reads of her and her music in terms of if it's good, if it's not, if it's deep, if it's shallow, so on and so forth, but often many of these takes say more about the person giving them than Taylor herself. One thing is for sure, wherever Taylor Swift and her music goes, some kind of debate is sure to follow. And I will give credit where it's due and say that the the past 5 years of her career have just been masterfully played in terms of her output, her accomplishments, and her ability to engage and enthrall her audience. Because not only did you have those pandemic era indie folk sister albums, which in my opinion were kind of the creative highlight of her career thus far, but then in addition to that, there was also the massively successful Eras Tour. And let's not also forget, she was re-recording and re-releasing all of her older records in order to have masters copies of those albums that she fully owned, only for her to have recently bought all of her masters back anyway. And then also, she was still dishing out new album cycles too, between Midnights, as well as the very lengthy and massive Tortured Poets Department, both sort of divisive albums in their own right in her catalog, but their commercial success cannot be denied. So even if they weren't strokes of creative genius, they most definitely showcase strokes of marketing genius. So Taylor is truly at a point right now.
What? Swiftie is 17 years here. She did, in fact, have a 4chan account as far as we know. She wasn't into alt-right memes, but was just there for attention. Wait, what? She had a 4chan account? Wait, what do you mean? It's an anonymous poster. What do you mean? That sounds crazy. That sounds like something 4chan itself cooked up. She used 4chan to name her cat Meredith. Like, people don't even have 4chan accounts in general. Why fans think Taylor Swift has a 4chan account? Okay, we can't even. Oh my God, let's stay on message
now
here.
In her career where she is really just operating with cheat codes on. She can truly just do anything she wants just because. But despite everything currently coming up Taylor, it does seem that she is trying to do her best to give her fan base a highly demanded reset of sorts with the life of a showgirl. And how is she doing that? Well, first off, she is cutting the fat, basically throwing away the endless sprawl and lengthy runtimes of projects like Folklore and Evermore Together, as well as the Tortured Poets Department, which, if you remember, pretty much got extended out to 2 full albums with the deluxe edition. And this project is also, in its own way, a departure from the sonics and instrumentation on Midnights too, because at least for now, Taylor Swift is moving away from her tried and trusted producers, Jack Antonoff, as well as
A song being shown something it took people years to figure out. Wait, I don't immediately understand this. It must be fake. I mean, it just sounds so far-fetched. Am I crazy? That does seem like super far-fetched. Because, first of all, like, people just don't have... Do people even have accounts on 4chan? And you're just out of touch with the reality? I guess maybe. Like, it's anonymous. It's very, very... It's for the most part, it's anonymous. So it's, like, unlikely that she would have an account on an anonymous messaging board. Specifically known for being like, it's a 30-year-old white girl, but if someone had an account, wait, what? Back in the day, you could have something called a trip code that would allow you to post with a username. Is that what happened? Pretty sure Liv Agar's QAA pod did an episode on this years back and found the claim dubious. You make so many assumptions based on something you admit you know nothing about. Like, where's your curiosity? I mean, I do know about 4chan. That's why I'm thinking that it's not very... It seems a bit far-fetched because I am not oblivious to 4chan, the hacker known as 4chan.
Aaron Dessner, as a lot of fans seemingly had like an increasing distaste for a lot of the very moody and airy and low impact instrumentals they were bringing to the table. And she has decided instead for the life of a showgirl to team up once again with Max Martin and Shellback, production legends who were there years ago when Taylor Swift was essentially making her first transitions from the world of country to pop music. There's also the matter of the title and message messaging and the album rollout and the track list of this record too, which made it pretty apparent from the outset this record in some measure was going to be an analysis, a commentary on Taylor Swift's fame, her life in the limelight, the public image shift she has foreseen in recent years, maybe also recent controversies, elements of her life that are under the magnifying glass now, like her relationship with fiancé Travis Kelce, maybe even ways in which her name has been forced into the world of politics. I mean, it was as recently as August that the president was truthing about this woman, talking about how she's a woke singer and no longer hot, and how he can't stand her, which is a kind of insane thing for a pop star to have to experience, even if it is this president. But from the start of this record, it's clear that Taylor Swift has something much more personal in mind, as the opening track here is about, yes, a relationship, which may for Taylor Swift be a typical topic, but is it a typical angle? No, because in Taylor Swift's relationship tales, she's usually a power player, or if she is feeling screwed over, she's boldly asserting her side of the story. But now in this instance, she is depicting herself as essentially having her life saved by Travis' love. Because if he did not love and care for her, she would befall the same fate Ophelia did after Hamlet rejected her. I mean, let's also not forget that he murked her dad too, which, that's also pretty bad. But yeah, it's a very, if not for you, sort of perspective that we don't often hear from Taylor. And this is a shift narratively that she acknowledges in at least one line on the song. But still, it is a significant change. Regardless, though, I do enjoy this opener quite a bit, because I do think the hyperbole going on with this track does play into the idea of an album called The Life of a Showgirl. You know, things are going to be hammed up a little bit, possibly. And in addition to that, I like the production on this track too. It's very punchy, elegant pop music with refined arrangements that have a bit of an orchestral touch to them. So don't go into this album presuming that just because Max Martin is in the mix, we're going to get another synth-heavy, indie-fied set of metropolitan bangers, because that is not what this record is. This is very much clearly not another 1989. Comparatively, I would say this track has more in common with like a Florence and the Machine song, but just like a little lighter and not so over the top. And I would say still at this point too, vocally, Taylor is still exhibiting a lot of Lana Del Rey influence. She just cannot let go of the impact that woman's sound and singing has had on her. But at least this time around, she's doing a slightly better job of kind of owning it in a way to where it doesn't feel like she's just doing an imitation.
So I'm putting on every white guy's take. Yeah, this makes the most sense. No. Well, I mean, I am trying to. I mean, first of all, we started off by listening to another a brown lady, so it's not even correct.
In addition to this, I would say a lot of these same elements are present on the following track, Elizabeth Taylor, but they're turned up to 11 with bigger drums, grand piano touches, strings, shoutier vocal passages too. Really cute lines as well, like "Be my NY when Hollywood hates me." And the track for the most part seems to very much be about how love and fame intersect for her, while also addressing her potential shelf life as a public figure. Following this, we have Opalite, which I would say is another highlight on the album, contributing to a pretty strong first leg. And the verses on this track read with the same groovy, soft pop rock instrumental palettes that you might catch on a Fleetwood Mac classic. But then it bursts into this jubilee of 60s girl group vocal harmonies. Big contrast, but simultaneously, Taylor and her collaborators somehow make it work. And they've really modernized this sound with sequence drums and digital reverbs that make all the instrumentation sound real starry. Overall, it's one of the more toned down songs in the track list here, but still, it's smooth and catchy nonetheless, and a welcome change from a lot of the turgid and tedious pacing of many songs from Tortured Poets. But Showgirl, as direct as it is not entirely a simple listen, because Taylor very quickly in this track list begins to complicate things a little bit with some very strange messaging and points of view, like on Father Figure, which is another number that does does stick with me, honestly, instrumentally and melodically. I do think it's quite the earworm. And I also appreciate how the drama of this track fits in with the...
You don't listen to music, so you won't know, but this review reeks of Fantano taking Dark Money. The album is that bad? Dark Money? You think Anthony Fantano took Dark Money? Like Taylor Swift funded Anthony Fantano's review.
You know, aesthetics and the overall mood.
He gave it a 4 out of 10. Guys, spoiler, dude.
And vibe of a showgirl album. On some level, it does feel like Taylor is a little in character, as to me, this song kind of reads like the act of putting on a mask so you can get away with saying the sort of things that you actually want to say. As on this song, Taylor is very much playing out a bit of a power fantasy, talking about some sort of protege who she pings as reminding her of a younger version of herself. But deeper into the song, the lyrics talk more about Taylor's own character than this person, kind of portraying herself as this very benevolent father figure who protects the family and is kind of like guiding and helping this person, and all they ask for in return is that they are loyal. And while at first this figure comes across like, you know, very nice and very understanding, I mean, still the way this operates, it's still very cold-blooded, it's business-oriented, it's his way or the highway. It's actually maybe a little Trumpian, especially as she drops lines about how her dick is bigger, and also you'll be sleeping with the fishes before you know you're drowning. So yeah, there are elements of this track and this character that are kind of unhinged, and as catchy as I think the track is, parts of it do skeeve me out because there are elements of it that feel like it comes from a place of sincerity. But for as much as I have some light criticisms for this song, the album begins to take a real serious nosedive into Eldest Daughter, which musically is kind of like your stereotypical millennial somber piano ballad. Taylor really retracts the claws on this one and instead portrays herself as somebody who is just overcome with sadness because of how dark and cynical the internet is, with lines like, everybody's so punk on the internet, everyone's unbothered till they're not, every joke's just trolling and memes, sad as it seems, apathy is hot. And not that these feelings or observations are completely inaccurate, but it's more of an issue of the messenger versus the message. Because, I mean, you're Taylor Swift, you're not the lone bleeding heart in an ocean of trolls and haters. Like, the way that you operate in the world and present yourself is just as calculated as any of these haters who are trying their best to act like they don't care. In fact, Taylor does exactly that deeper into the album, which we will get to in a bit, I guess. So she doesn't even live up to the portrayal that she gives herself on this song. And to further add to the disconnected fantasy world this song exists in, you have lines like, I've been afflicted by a terminal uniqueness. I've been dying just from trying to seem cool. I'm sorry, I get indigestion just thinking of saying that line. I've been afflicted by a terminal uniqueness. Dude, do you have 4 months left to live? Like, what stage is this terminal uniqueness? Has it gotten into the lungs? After this, we have Ruin the Friendship, which more like Ruin the Song. I mean, it's not the most unique pop songwriter song out there for sure. But, you know, if you like some old school Taylor Swift or some Jewel, you'll at least find something in the very personal and tragic story this song has to offer, as the track is all about a high school crush, the nostalgia, the imagery, the tension of, you know, wanting to kiss this guy. But then suddenly, he passes away in an absolutely...
The fact that every one of these Taylor Swift lines is 100% sincere makes me cringe that much more intense. Yeah, I mean, that in and of itself is like fine. I feel like people treat that as though it's like a ridiculous statement, but like, yeah, it's just, you know, it's just cringe. No, that's what it is, right?
Genuinely heart-wrenching moment. But then Taylor's takeaway and advice from this point forward, given that fact, is you should have made sure that you made out with him anyway? Like, the relationship status in the song is a bit muddy, and I would hate for someone to take the wrong message away from this track and think like, you know, I should just wantonly try to steal other people's girlfriends and boyfriends because who cares? It's better than living with the regret of having not made out with them in case they die. Following from here, we have more low points, like with the song Actually Romantic, which is a pop rock number with a very tried and true chord progression that, believe me, you've heard a million times. But sadly, the performance on this track never really truly rocks. It just stays kind of...
One thing that I've experienced with... with comedians is that when they reach a certain point in their career, because comedy, just like music, is about your personal reflections, your personal experiences, things that you have observed, things that you've experienced, and trying to make light of that, right? That's what comedy's about. And music is not dissimilar to that as well. Music is also about your lived experiences, your relationships, you know, the ups and downs and stuff like that. One thing that I've noticed with like comedians is when they reach a certain point and become incredibly wealthy, they become out of touch. They become out of step with regular folk. Okay. And I think that's part of the reason why it's like difficult for Taylor Swift to come out with relatable albums the wealthier she gets. The wealthier she becomes, the more out of touch she becomes with the regular people, and the less she can tap into that well of personal experiences that are otherwise considered relatable. So I think that's part of the problem with, Taylor Swift, regular girl next door, high school sweetheart, and that kind of experiences that she can invoke. Because we are talking about a multi-billionaire who flies everywhere with private jets, who is one of the most famous people in America, who is going to have a hard time the older she gets, and the more wealthy and more successful she becomes. She's going to have a harder time tapping into the regular experiences that other people are going through. And I guess like part of that, I said one of the most famous people in America, and someone immediately says in the world, period. I mean, in America and in the Western world in general, for sure. But like I suspect if you were to go to Korea or something and you put up Taylor Swift next to, I don't know, like who's the guy who is the iconic League player, Faker, or even like, yeah, BTS or whatever, like obviously, you know, different parts of the world, different strokes for different folks. This girl has been out of touch, rich, since she was a fetus. Sure, billionaire Swift is out of touch, but she was never in touch with anything more than being a perpetually love-struck teen at one point. Now she's 30 plus. I just, you know, it said Joe Alwyn helped her write Lover. Travis helped write this one. Wait, what? Stop. I don't think Travis Kelce knows how to write, let alone wrote the album. I think you were making a joke, right? You were making a joke about how, like, that's not... I don't think Travis Kelce is literate.
Thin and stiff the entire time, even as the drums are like, you know, at full capacity for this song anyway, which is unfortunate because I think
between the two of them, Travis is the one who went and graduated from college. Just saying, yeah, that doesn't mean much. Okay.
If a track this snarky and this unhinged is going to be pulled off effectively, Taylor should really
Travis, his tongue sticking out, is like, yo, write that line about the redwood penis. Talk about my erection.
Just be going full on into this feeling and this response here, which don't give me that how Anthony, she's supposed to be acting nonchalant on the song. I'm sorry, you're writing a response to somebody. The nonchalance is out the window. You are totally and fully giving a care. And you're literally dropping lyrics about how this person's obsession with you makes you wet. Go crazy with it. Go insane. Go over the top. Get unhinged. There are currently a lot of allegations around the internet right now of proposing that this song is in fact about Charlie XCX because maybe the song song is Taylor picking up on the meaning behind Sympathy is a Knife from Charlie's last record, Brat, which if Taylor is the person Charlie is singing about on that song, it's not a diss. It's not an insult. It's not in anything. Charlie is singing about somebody who is a source of insecurity for her, which if that's you, Taylor, you are merely a placeholder in that situation. I'm sorry. Anybody who reached a point of success that you did in that dynamic would be a source of anxiety and insecurity for Charlie in that song. Again, if people supposing that this is about Charlie XCX, if they're correct. But yeah, if Taylor was going to write a response to somebody about someone who is seemingly obsessed with her and has negative things to say about her behind.
Deeper dive into the beef. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's get the Brat beef out of the way. It's kind of interesting because like
Swift.
Charlie XCX and Taylor Swift both endorse Kamala Harris. Not that it really matters in this situation, but Charlie XCX also has canceled friends, right? I mean, she's like homies with the Red Scare Girls and shit like that. So I don't really know. I don't really know what to make of the. Oh God, I don't really know what to make of that. Charlie didn't endorse. She called Kamala a brat. Okay, well, that's an endorsement. Is it not? She wrote a song about Dasha on Brat, and all these leftists are like, oh, Charlie. Yes, this is a little bit like high school drama between 30-year-old billionaire versus 30-year-old. I don't know if she's a millionaire, but
was dancing and having the best time during Charli XCX's performance at the Grammys while planning to release a whole diss track towards her. Let's talk about this new diss track and whether or not Taylor misunderstood the Charli song that started this all. So last year, Charli released the song Sympathy is a Knife on her album Brat, and the song is about feeling insecure around a very successful woman. Fans were convinced this song was about Taylor because of the lyric, don't want to see her backstage.
I will say, like, regardless of my opinion of who Charlie CX is or whatever, or the Kamala Brat memes being overcooked, I do think that her album was a banger. I did like it a lot. I listened to it quite a bit. It was pretty good. And I don't really listen to a lot of music.
At my boyfriend's show, fingers crossed behind my back, I hope they break up quick. Charlie's man, George Daniel, is in the 1975 with Maddie Healy, who Taylor was dating in 2023. So that is how Charlie would see Taylor backstage at her boyfriend's show. Charlie also tweeted Sympathy is a Knife the same day Taylor's album, The Tortured Poets Department, dropped. So all signs were pointing to this song being about Taylor. After this song and Brat came out though, Taylor continued to show support towards Charlie. Taylor gave a quote to a New York Magazine story about Charlie in August of 2024 that said, I've been blown away by Charlie's melodic sensibilities since I first heard Stay Away in 2011.
It is pretty crazy that, wait, is this drama somehow related back to, like, does Adam Friedland play a role in this? Because, like, isn't that why that relationship had a lot of friction? Because Maddie Healy went on TAFs and set up and was like really trying to impress Nick Mullen and Adam Friedland. And then in an effort to do so, he said some like crazy shit on there. And then the Swifties, who were like super woke at the time, got real mad. It even led to like Ice Spice appearing alongside Taylor Swift later down. It kind of feels like he might have played a role in this album. Yeah, this is Adam Friedland causing this multi-year long crash out from Taylor Swift is my 9/11 50 Shades of Grey domino effect. Charlie used the attention on her to post on her story about the protests going on in Israel, and Taylor's ex Joe would do this as well. Travis Kelce's response to Wood.
I mean, it's so descriptive. I've listened to it like 3,000 times. It's insane. It starts subtle, but then the second verse is just not subtle at all. Not subtle at all by the end. It's crazy. Hey, what's going on, you guys? Oh, you heard the song. Bro, it's crazy. Good for you, pal. Pat, you've been showering next to me for years. You know this. I mean, yeah, I've seen it, but I've never seen you put it to work. Yeah, you know that Mark Jackson meme where it says, like, I'm sorry, I was unfamiliar with your game until now? Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but with your I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just that good. You might be the coolest guy I know. I can't believe I'm throwing passes to a tripod. I'm not gonna lie, the podcast shot I was saying. The most famous pop star on earth wrote a song about how great your dick game is, and your big takeaway was that she shouted out your podcast jackass. It's free advertising, all right? The free advertising is that everybody knows you're packing a hip breaker down there. You're the coolest guy I know, Trav. She called it a redwood tree. Several times. Yeah, several times. And a magic wand. So is this going to make it?
I thought the 1975 guy said some legitimately racist stuff about Ice Spice, not just woke. No. He, like I said, he was trying to impress Adam Friedland and Nick Mullen. And if you're not a comedian and you try to do that, you're gonna come across as saying some wild shit.
Writing is surreal and inventive always.
Which then
she just takes a song to place.
Which then literally led to, this is what she posted, Israeli protests. Charlie XA shared a post or a story about the protests in Tel Aviv demanding an end to the war in Gaza. Hundreds of thousands of Israelis joined nationwide protests to demand an end to a war in Gaza. I mean, all right, cool.
You wouldn't expect it to go, and she's been doing it consistently for over a decade. I love to see hard work like that pay off. And that was the same story that highlighted the photo shoot Charlie did with a severed, bloody hand that had a friendship bracelet on. A lot of fans thought that this was some sort of shade towards Taylor because Taylor's whole brand at the time was friendship bracelets, which were insanely popular during the Eras tour. But Taylor was still vibing to Charlie's performance at the Grammys. Taylor recorded The Life of a Showgirl in summer of 2024, which means that she gave a quote to an article praising Charlie and danced to her performance at the Grammys while already having her song, her diss track, actually romantic made. The song is about someone who hates on Taylor so much to the point where Taylor is actually flattered by it because it's giving fan behavior. The opening lines of the song are, "Heard you call me boring Barbie when the coke's got you brave, high fives my ex, and then you said you're glad he ghosted me."
Okay, this also feels like I'm not mad. I don't even care. I'm not mad at all, by the way. Like, that's what it's giving, right? And for me, it's like, you're Taylor Swift. Like, you shouldn't in general. You should not care about anything. You're Taylor Swift. It reminds me almost of like the Mr. Beast moment where he was like he was like posting about Caleb. She wrote about her taking an L. Well, the Maddie Healy stuff is sensitive. It's her trigger.
Now, Sympathy is a Knife by Charlie really isn't a diss track at all. It's about Charlie's insecurities with comparing herself to other successful women. So if Taylor based Actually Romantic solely off of Sympathy is a Knife, it does feel like she misunderstood that song. Maybe she was really offended by the friendship bracelet shoot, but then why go and dance to her performance at the Grammys? Like,
yeah, well, she's not even mad. That's the point. People don't like how unbothered she is now. I mean, if she wasn't mad, she wouldn't say the coke's got you brave. If she actually wasn't mad, she just wouldn't make a song about it. Am I crazy? Like, I feel like that's not. Am I crazy? I'd be mad too. Charlie makes music that actually slaps. Also, she's hot. Two things. Okay, calm down. In the song, she implies she knows a lot of things Charlie has said about her regarding Maddie Healy. So this song is a more I know more than you think I know. You're fake and obsessed, not a response. The Sympathy is a Knife.
I just don't understand. This is sad though. I mean, there was a time when Charlie and Taylor were singing Shake It Off together every single night when Charlie was opening for Taylor on the Reputation tour. Let me know what you guys think of all of this and make sure to follow me for more music tea.
Deep canyons on coastline.
So why are we assuming this is about Charlie? Like, I feel like there is nothing next to implying that except for the cocaine. I like that we all assume that it's Charlie because she mentions cocaine, but I think it's I don't know. Why should we care about this? I'm just working through it. Okay. I'm trying to understand. It's like a boomer's first interaction with this. Taylor Swift sends Brittany Mahomes' handwritten note on the heels of canceled song speculation. Popstar wrote the Life of a Showgirl track canceled about her. The former soccer pro took to her Instagram stories Monday to share the note, which was inside of an orange sparkling PR package. If you're reading this, you're someone special who's shown love, someone I admire, someone ultimately I want to celebrate with as the welcome of the life of a showgirl into the world. The note reads, Mahomes was one of the many Swift's PR lists to receive the package after fans speculated the latter's track canceled was inspired by her. In the song, the Grammy winner seemingly offers a friend who's been publicly ridiculed an extended hand singing, did you girl boss too close to the sun? Did they catch you having far too much fun? Come with me when they see us, they'll run. Something wicked this way comes. She then goes on to sing, good thing I like my friends canceled. I like them cloaked in Gucci and in scandal. Like my whiskey sour and my poison thorny flowers. Welcome to my underworld where it gets quite dark. At least you know exactly who your friends are. They're the ones with matching scars. Fans suggest that Swift's line about Gucci was a nod to Mahomes after she sported attire from the fashion powerhouse in the 2024 U.S. Open. At the time, the mom of three was on a double date with her husband, Patrick Mahomes, Swift, and Travis Kelce, who also dressed in Gucci. Swift also penned an athletic nod in the track, singing, single drop, you're off the roster, tone deaf and hot, let's off her, which fans also speculated was about Britney. Wait, what is that? The Sports Illustrated model has come under fire online for subtly implying that she supports President Trump, notably opposing Swift's political beliefs. Britney also received heat for spraying a bottle of champagne at NFL fans after the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Buffalo Bills. At one point, she took to X to address the hate she was receiving, writing, "I just wish I could do what I want without getting attacked every week." Bro, even I got a handwritten note from her. It's not news. Wait, I'm so confused. I thought you were on the "this is about Brittany Mahomes and she's a racist" train. And now it feels like you're saying the opposite. Which is it? The song is 100% about Blake Lively after the initial tone-deaf comments and an article calling her canceled during the movie press tour last summer before the Baldoni stuff. She wrote this album in the summer of 2024. Dog, she was spraying champagne on fans in minus 15 degrees. It was literally one of the coldest games ever. Are you a fan of the shorts and dress shirt? No, this is an abysmal fit, especially including the shoes as well. That is craziness. That is crazy. All right, let's get back to the Taylor T.
This point from the pop world of, many a single, many a record that analyzes exactly that. What does this track bring to the table that all of those other songs and albums didn't already? Not much. Outside of a decent Sabrina Carpenter feature. But yeah, unfortunately, a truly forgettable ending to an album that starts a lot stronger than it finishes. But yeah, that's the life of a showgirl, I guess. Sadly, I'm very torn on what Taylor Swift had to offer this time around. In one breath, I really do like that this album was poppier, catchier, punchier, more direct and to the point. Again, cutting away at the excessive runtime of the Tortured Poets Department and all that. But simultaneously, this is some of Taylor Swift's worst writing lyrically she has ever done in her entire career. Worst, tackiest, most out of touch, most childish. I mean, people have been saying this, and I do tend to agree, that there are songs that she wrote when she was a teenager or in her early 20s that comparatively to many songs on this album are more mature and more poetic. But I mean, you don't even need to go back that far. Just look at some of the autobiographical and otherwise writing that was all over folklore and evermore. Just 5 years ago, Taylor was writing immensely more mature and smarter tracks that had just a lot more depth to their emotions, to their storytelling, to a lot of things, frankly. Sadly, I feel like this record's biggest issue is that it truly is just dumbed down, which is why I'm feeling a light to decent 4 on this one. Tran?
People are saying this is too positive of a review for Fantano because he's like a routine slapper of 2s on albums.